Howdy. This is my recovery, part 29. Today is the 13th of July. To fill you in a little bit since last time, had a visit from the nurse today. Said basically looking well, probably looking better than most of the patients they see, basically because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And one of the things I said, well, you have to have endorphins. Make sure you got your endorphins. Sex, exercise, dark chocolate. And that was the first time she heard anybody mention sex. I says, well, gee, just because we're older doesn't mean that's something we stop doing or something like that. It gives endorphins. And she agreed with that. And one of the things that talked about last time and this time is basically I'm without pain in my chest area. And because of that, one has to be careful. Such as with sex, she has to be on top. And the other thing about sex is, if you remember from last time, basically it's a sacrament. So not only do you have a good time, but you also get grace. So some of the other things you have to be careful about, because now you're not having pain, is if you're sitting in a car and you have to get in or out, you have to make sure you slide across the seat or swing your hips, your legs, whatever, as opposed to putting your arm down and using that to push off. Because again, you're supposed to wait till your breastplate is healed. That takes about at least 4 months. Therefore, you're not supposed to put more than 10 pounds on it. Using the hand to push you off does that. Same thing with sitting down. You're at the table. Basically, not only to help you eat slow, which I've talked about in the past, basically if you have your arms or your elbows resting on the table, you start to tend to lean more on that. That's putting more than 10 pounds of pressure on your breastplate. So the best thing to do is, I find, is basically put my hands together, put them in my lap. Another thing is if you're sitting somewhere else, like I have a variety of appointments at the hospital for this and that, it's very easy to sit in a chair that has arms, and then you get up, you're pushing yourself up using your arms. Wrong, that's bad. So basically what I do is I find one of those seats for those obese people, the extra wide ones, sit in the middle of that. Put your hands in your lap again. Put your hands together, put them in your lap, and that helps keeping you, when it's time to stand up, you stand up without pushing off using your arms. Again, that puts more than 10 pounds of pressure on your breastplate. The same thing as if you're standing up, you want to make sure you use 1 or 2 hands to pick something up, as opposed to leaning over and getting something. Because now if you start leaning, you're going to put one hand down to balance yourself, or so you can lean farther over, and guess what? That puts more than 10 pounds of pressure on your breastplate. So you have to knock that off. There's no leaning over. So these are things you have to start remembering when the pain goes. Because again, you're not supposed to put more than 10 pounds of pressure on your breastplate. So now that getting into what's happening here, what I'm showing you is what Kaiser basically calls a rehab program. This is something they send you. Big deal. So what? It's all very generic, nothing specific. So I get a call from my cardio rehab person who's supposed to be in charge of me getting better. This was on the 7th, and it was all generalities. Oh, you need to lose weight. Yeah, I know that. How do I do it? Oh, well, we'll send you a pamphlet or two. What the hell is that going to do for me? I know I'm overweight and I gotta lose weight. And then it says, well, you need to limit your salt, low sodium diet. And I said, wait a minute. I don't add any salt. The only salt I add is when I have a margarita, and that's the salt on the rim. Otherwise, my food is unsalted. What I need is a low cholesterol diet. That's why I'm in this rehab program, is because of my cholesterol problems. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had angina. I wouldn't have had bypass surgery because of my cholesterol. I need specifics and not just, oh, do this, just general stuff that you get here. Food groups, portion size, whatever. I mean, to me, it really doesn't add anything. So I said, I need to talk to a nutritionist. Now one of the things is, that's fine. So I got recommended to the primary care provider, who then says, yes, you get to see a nutritionist. So that's being scheduled. The other part is about exercise. Whoa, well, gee, physical activity, exercise guidelines. Walk around the block. So what? I'm doing that already. And so basically I said, I need to, my understanding is we're supposed to be able to go to some rehab center where basically you're on a bicycle, you're on a treadmill, they put the EKGs on, leads on you to measure what's going on. These are things that need to be done, as opposed to just generalities, so I know what I need to do to get better. So now Kaiser's willing to do that, but I have to ask for this. It isn't like, oh, these are different things we offer you, take your pick. It's just generalities, and you have to ask for the specifics. And how do you know what to ask for? Well, they don't tell you. You have to figure it out for yourself. So that's why I'm talking about this. So I do have an appointment to see somebody to monitor me and then move up from there, which is totally different from the Veterans Administration. The VA, basically, for what they call their cardio reversal program, which is to get you off your meds, they say these are all the different things it's going to do for you and give you examples, specifics, etc. So, big difference between Kaiser and the VA. Kaiser, you have to guess. The VA says, hey, these are all the things we're going to do for you. So I'll keep you up to date on what's going on. End of line.